Very good evening to one and all. My name is Dr. Krishna Aininivar. I am an assistant professor at Pune Business School, which is an integral part of Pimpri Chinchwad Education Trust. We are very lucky to have CA Pramod Jain sir with us, and we are more than happy to get associated with sir and the kind of response we are getting from our students, from all the participants, that is incredible. And today's topic, which is there, that is how to prepare for, write, and qualify the registered valuers exam of IBBI. Thank you, Pramod Jain sir, for giving your inputs to all the stakeholders, all the participants, and our students that will enable them to grow in their life professionally as well as personally. Thanks again, sir. Over to you, sir.
Sir, unmute your.
Sir, can you please unmute? Your voice is not audible, sir.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir.
Okay. Thank you, Krishna. It's indeed a great pleasure for me to be part of this series. It's indeed a great pleasure for me to be part of this series of knowledge where we are covering 30 different topics over 30 days. And today we are going to cover a new topic, which is how to prepare for, write, and qualify the registered valuers exam of IBBI. I'm sure there must be many participants who may be wanting to appear for this exam of valuation. And this valuation course is a testimony from the side of the government about the faith and confidence they are posing in the professionals. It is very interesting, Krishna, that in recent past there are three different opportunities which have come on the way of the professionals like chartered accountants, cost accountants, company secretaries, MBAs, and lawyers. And those three opportunities are: number one, the insolvency code; number two is the registered valuers profession; and number three is the independent directors. Now, fortunately, I have had the good pleasure of qualifying all these three exams. And when I passed this exam of insolvency, I thought, why not to share this knowledge with everyone? This not because passing these exams is a different ball game altogether. These exams are completely different because these exams are MCQ based. MCQ based, and there are about 100 questions. 100 marks is the total score. Plus, there is a negative marking in case of the insolvency exam and in case of the valuation exam. In case of independent director exam, there is no negative marking. And what I realized that out of all these three courses, all these three opportunities which are available to the chartered accountants, cost accountants, company secretaries, lawyers, and the MBAs, valuation exam is toughest of all. And I'm aware many aspirants for the valuation professional exam have attempted it 15 times, 20 times, and despite attempting 15 times and 20 times, they have not been able to pass this exam. And hence, this idea of sharing this knowledge with all the prospective and future aspirants to the evaluation exam. Because what I realized that if one has to pass this exam, you have to follow a strategy. And why do you have to follow a strategy? You have to follow a strategy because the course curriculum is extremely vast. And if I can tell you, it is much more than the exam course curriculum for the exam of chartered accountancy, company secretary, or for the cost accountancy. The course curriculum is so vast. And plus, you have to pass the exam in just 2 hours. There's a negative marking. And the challenge is all the aspirants, they are already working professionals, they're practicing professionals. And therefore, there is always a limitation of time. So then how do you pass this exam? For that, we are going to discuss today a strategy will be their preparation. And with that proper planning, they will be, I'm sure, able to pass this exam. I'm not saying that they will pass this exam soon after they attend this program, but I'm sure if they follow the guidelines which are shared as part of this program meticulously, it will definitely help them passing this exam. Now, before I come to the strategy, one thing that I would like to share, why this new reform of the evaluation as a profession. It's not that the evaluation was not done in this country earlier. The evaluation was always done in this country before also. The only thing is the evaluation profession as such was highly disorganized. There were no standards. There were no standard practices or norms that were to be followed. And it is necessary that this profession is standardized. And why this profession is standardized? Because remember, valuation is not merely a word. Valuation is a very important tool in the hands of the corporate, because with the help of the valuation, the corporates are able to take big decisions. So I'm sure all of us here, whether it is the valuation of Zomato or valuation of Flipkart or valuation of Walmart or valuation of so many companies. So whenever there is a merger happening, amalgamation happening, takeover happening, acquisition happening, fresh issues of shares is happening, FDI coming in, or people from India making investment outside India. There are so many areas where valuation is required, as much as in case of financial reporting. So now we have in this country Ind AS. So as part of the Ind AS, the companies to whom Ind AS has become mandatory, those companies need to have the fair valuation done in many of the instances. Even in case of family settlement, that can happen. So there are all these areas where the valuation is required, and that is why valuation is not merely a word. It is a tool. It is a tool which is very critical and important for the purpose of decision making. And therefore, this tool is a golden opportunity available to chartered accountants, cost accountants, company secretaries, and MBAs in finance. Now, these are the people who can apply for this exam, and they can pass this exam, and they can practice as a registered valuer. It is also available for graduates also, but there the parameters are slightly different, but our focus is with the professionals, that is chartered accountants, cost accountants, company secretaries, and MBA in finance. Now, friends, what I have done, I have divided this presentation into parts. So firstly, I'm going to discuss the strategy, how to prepare the exam. मुझे पूरा भरोसा है कि आप में से बहुत लोगों ने, जिन्होंने ये प्रोग्राम को पास करने की, जिन्होंने इस एग्जाम को क्वालिफाई करने की, जिन्होंने वैल्यूएशन प्रोफेशनल बनने की डिसीजन लिया हुआ है, उनमें से सभी लोगों ने ये जो कोर्स करिकुलम है इस एग्जाम का, वो आपने जरूर देखा होगा। और जब आपने देखा होगा तो आपने ये भी महसूस किया होगा कि ये कोर्स करिकुलम, जैसा कि मैं पहले कह रहा था, बहुत वास्ट है। तो अगर हम उस पूरे कोर्स करिकुलम को पढ़ने जाएंगे तो मेरे ख्याल से 1 साल तो छोड़िए, 2-3 साल भी कम पढ़ेंगे, इतना बड़ा कोर्स करिकुलम है। लेकिन हमें एग्जाम पास करना है, हमें वैल्यूएशन प्रोफेशनल बनना है, तो उसके लिए क्या स्ट्रेटजी हमें अडॉप्ट करनी चाहिए, दैट इज व्हाट इज वी आर गोइंग टू कवर एज पार्ट 1. And that's where what I intend to do is I intend to discuss with you chapter by chapter, topic by topic, and share with you as to what should be your strategy for the preparation of this part of the course curriculum or this topic of the course curriculum. And after completing the entire this part, that is part 1, then we will come to the part 2. And in part 2, friends, we're going to discuss as to how to write this exam, how to take this exam. मैं आपको बताऊं कि ये एग्जाम बहुत ही इंटरेस्टिंग है, एट द सेम टाइम बहुत चैलेंजिंग है. इंटरेस्टिंग क्यों है? इंटरेस्टिंग एग्जाम इसलिए है क्योंकि it is not the typical of pen and paper exam where you have to write long answers. It is a MCQ based exam, and you have the question in front of you on the computer, and it is completely online. So you have the question in front of you on the computer. You have to read the question and select one of those four options which are given to you. So ये एग्जाम चैलेंजिंग है, ये एग्जाम इंटरेस्टिंग है, और वो जो 2 घंटे आप कंप्यूटर के सामने बैठ के स्पेंड करेंगे, रिमेंबर बहुत कुछ उस पर डिपेंड करेगा कि आप एग्जाम को क्वालिफाई करते हैं कि नहीं करते हैं. तो अगर मैं आपको ब्रीफ में कहूं तो मैं ये कहूंगा, passing of this exam 75% will depend on how do you prepare yourself, and 25% will depend how do you spend those 2 hours sitting in front of the computer in the examination hall. And believe me, those 2 hours will be much more critical than the 75% of the preparation that you will do. I'm not saying that 75% of the preparation is not going to be critical, is not going to be important. Of course it is critical, of course it is important, because ultimately that will make you help pass the exam. But आपकी प्रेजेंस ऑफ माइंड 2 घंटे में कैसी हो, आपकी स्ट्रेटेजी कैसी हो, आपका थॉट प्रोसेस कैसा हो, और आपको वो 2 घंटे का कैसे इस्तेमाल करना है, दैट वी विल डिस्कस एज पार्ट 2 ऑफ दिस प्रोग्राम. तो फ्रेंड्स, मैंने क्या किया है, मैंने पूरे कोर्स करिकुलम को आपकी सहूलियत के लिए, फॉर द बेनिफिट ऑफ ऑल ऑफ यू, आई हैव डिवाइडेड द एंटायर कोर्स करिकुलम इनटू 4 कैटेगरीज. तो मैंने जो सारे टॉपिक्स हैं उनको 4 कैटेगरीज में क्लासिफाई किया है. पहली जो कैटेगरी है दैट इज प्रोफेशनल. और इसका मतलब क्या है कि अगर मैं कहता हूं कि ये टॉपिक, इफ आई एम मार्किंग इट एज प्रोफेशनल, इसका मतलब ये है कि ये टॉपिक की आपकी तैयारी जबरदस्त होनी चाहिए. दिस टॉपिक यू हैव टू प्रिपेयर थॉरली, एग्जॉस्टिवली. इट इज क्रिटिकल. Without preparing, without having a professional preparation of this topic, you will not be able to pass this exam. So that is category number 1, professional. Then certain topics I have marked as high, and you will see them. So as we go, you will see them. So every topic you will see that it is marked professional or high or average. तो कुछ टॉपिक्स को मैंने हाई करके मार्क किया है. इसका मतलब क्या है? इसका मतलब ये है कि ये उतना ज्यादा आपको एफर्ट देने की जरूरत नहीं है जितने कि प्रोफेशनल जिस टॉपिक को मार्क किया है उसके लिए आपको देना पड़ेगा, उससे थोड़ा कम देना है. क्योंकि ये जो टॉपिक है जिसको कि हम हाई मार्क कर रहे हैं, वो टॉपिक इंपॉर्टेंट है, लेकिन वो टॉपिक बिकॉज ऑफ योर बीइंग अ प्रोफेशनल, प्रैक्टिसिंग प्रोफेशनल, इट इज क्वाइट लाइकली that you already have a fairly good understanding of that topic, and therefore you can reduce your efforts on this topic and use those efforts, those time and efforts, in preparation for the topics which are marked as professional. Then the third category is average. तो आप देखेंगे कि कुछ टॉपिक्स को मैंने एवरेज मार्क किया है, और उसका क्या मतलब है? उसका मतलब ये है कि ये जो जिस टॉपिक्स को मैंने एवरेज मार्क किया हुआ है, वो जो टॉपिक हैं उन टॉपिक के बारे में वो आपके लिए रिलेटिवली इजियर हैं. तो आप उन टॉपिक के ऊपर थोड़ा सा और कम टाइम स्पेंड कर सकते हैं. और क्यों और कम टाइम स्पेंड कर सकते हैं? बिकॉज आप देखेंगे जब आप मेरे साथ में आगे बढ़ेंगे तो आपको ध्यान में आएगा कि ये जो टॉपिक हैं इनकी आपकी अंडरस्टैंडिंग और भी ज्यादा अच्छी है. तो यू कैन do your time management, and maybe put little less efforts than what you will do for category 1 and for category 2. एंड फाइनली फ्रेंड्स, कुछ टॉपिक को मैंने लिखा हुआ है, मार्क किया हुआ है एज चेक इनपुट आउटपुट रेशियो. दैट मीन्स व्हाट? दैट मीन्स रिमेंबर, in this exam, the passing is of 60 marks. See, the total is 100 marks, and out of the total, you have to score 60 marks. So if you score 60 marks, then you pass the exam. And what does it mean? It means uh, what we need to ensure for passing this exam, that minimum 60 we get. Anything over and above that is not going to bring us any additional benefit as such. But whether you score 60 or you score 90, both of you will fall into the same category of passing the exam. So then why not to focus on the topics that will ensure that we score 60 and above marks. Our objective is not to score 100 marks. Our objective is to pass the exam. And therefore कुछ topics ऐसे हैं जिनको मैंने mark किया है as check input output ratio. That means देखिए, क्या आपको इस टॉपिक के ऊपर बहुत ज्यादा एफर्ट करने से कुछ एक्स्ट्रा फायदा होगा, और अगर आपको लगता है कि हाँ एक्स्ट्रा फायदा होगा, तो आप जरूर वो टॉपिक्स की भी तैयारी करिए. लेकिन अगर आपको लगता है कि नहीं, ये टॉपिक को मैं सबसे लास्ट में ले सकता हूं, तो आप उस तरह से प्लान कर सकते हैं. Finally, before we come to the topic wise discussion, a lot of people call me from different places, and they ask me, sir, can you recommend a book which comprises of only MCQs? And friends, remember, there is no point in getting obsessed with the idea of getting a lot of MCQs. Why? Because you will be able to answer the MCQs only when your basics are clear, when your fundamental understanding, when your conceptual understanding of the topics of the course curriculum are clear, only then you will be able to answer those MCQs. अगर आपकी फंडामेंटल अंडरस्टैंडिंग क्लियर नहीं है, अगर आपकी कंसेप्चुअल अंडरस्टैंडिंग अच्छी नहीं है, क्लैरिटी नहीं है, और अगर आपकी बेसिक्स के बारे में नॉलेज बराबर नहीं है, तो एमसीक्यूज को आंसर करने से आपको फ्रस्ट्रेशन होगा. और क्यों फ्रस्ट्रेशन होगा? बिकॉज ऐसा नहीं है कि एग्जाम में 100 एमसीक्यूज हैं और 200 एमसीक्यूज हैं या 300 एमसीक्यूज हैं, और वो 300 एमसीक्यूज आपने मेमोराइज कर लिए तो आप एग्जाम को क्रैक कर पाएंगे. नो, the database that the IBBI has, or the governing institute, whether it is NISM or BSc Institute, the database that they have of the questions run into thousands. So if you want to base your preparation, or if you want to base your hope in passing the exam on solving the MCQs, then you will have to memorize about 2,000-3,000 of the MCQs, and that is physically not possible. And therefore my recommendation will be, first focus on achieving fundamental understanding, conceptual clarity. Once you have reached to a certain point, after that you start answering the MCQs. That will become very interesting for you, and that will also become very entertaining for you, because at that time you will be able to start answering all those MCQs one by one. So with this understanding, friends, we move forward, and we look at all the topics one by one. तो अब आप देखेंगे कि as you can see on your screen, the second column, the first column is of course topic number or the chapter number. Then you have a main topic, which is, in this case, the first topic that we are talking about is of macroeconomics. उसके जो आगे का जो कॉलम है, it gives the weightage, and that is 4 in this case. So macroeconomics के कोर्स कंटेंट के ऊपर से 4 मार्क्स के क्वेश्चन पूछे जाएंगे, and then it is divided into subtopics, as you can see here. The first topic here is national income accounting, basics of fiscal policy, basics of monetary policy, understanding business cycles. So what you need to do is, for preparing the macroeconomics, you need to focus on only on these 4 topics, and that's it. So it's not that you pick up one thick book of macroeconomics and start preparing it from the page 1 to the last page. No, don't do that. Just focus on the 4 topics which are part of the course curriculum, and this should be good enough. उसके जो अगला कॉलम है उसमें मैंने आप देख सकते हैं कि जिक्र किया है books or material that you should refer. So what I have also done in the entire planning, entire document that I'm going to share with you as we keep on discussing, इस कॉलम में मैंने आपको ये भी मेंशन किया है कि कौन सा स्टडी मटेरियल आप यूज कर सकते हैं, कौन सी आप बुक यूज कर सकते हैं फॉर द प्रिपरेशन. हियर फ्रेंड्स, आई वुड लाइक टू टेल यू कि अगर किसी कारण से इफ यू गेट स्टक अप and you're not getting any book or material on any particular topic, I will recommend make use of Google. And I can tell you any topic on which you want to have reading material, reference material, just Google it and you will get enough of it. And then you can pick up one or two of them and that should be good enough. उसके बाद जो अगला कॉलम है आप देख सकते हैं, मैंने उसमें लिखा है अप्रोच टू प्रिपरेशन, यानी कि हाउ शुड बी योर अप्रोच टू प्रिपरेशन. एंड इन दिस फॉर द मैक्रो इकोनॉमिक्स, एज यू कैन सी ऑन योर स्क्रीन, व्हाट आई एम राइटिंग इज first reading will be a plain reading when not much may be understood. Remember, though we are practicing chartered accountant, cost accountants, company secretaries, or maybe MBA in finance, because our focus in the practice is on something else, we are not so much into the macroeconomics on day-to-day basis. And therefore, some of the topics when you read, you in your first reading, you may find them little boring, little dry, but don't get discouraged. Don't get discouraged. Read it once, read it twice, and read it third time. And I'm sure as you keep on reading twice, thrice, you will find that these topics are becoming इंटरेस्टिंग. तो वो करिए, और चौथी टाइम तक जब आप उसको रीड करेंगे वो टॉपिक को, तो आप देखेंगे कि आपको वो पूरा टॉपिक पहले ही समझ में आ चुका है. Good understanding of macroeconomics, friends, is very important for passing this exam for two reasons. Number one, as a valuer, as a valuation professional, you and I need to have a good understanding of macroeconomics. Other than that, the 4 questions that you will get on macroeconomics are kind of low-lying fruits which you can very easily pick, and you should not miss on that actually. And on the last column, as you can see, I have marked it as high. High का मतलब क्या है? High का मतलब यह है second category of the priority order, यानी कि इस टॉपिक के ऊपर आपको मेहनत करनी पड़ेगी, इस टॉपिक को आपको तैयार करना पड़ेगा, इस टॉपिक को आपको कॉन्फिडेंस हो, ऐसा होना जरूरी है. अब ये जो मैंने आपको एक्सप्लेन किया कॉलम वाइज कॉलम, ये अब एक्सप्लेनेशन मैं अगले स्लाइड पे नहीं करूंगा क्योंकि नाउ इट इज क्लियर टू यू. सो पहले हम टॉपिक नंबर, उसके बाद में मेन टॉपिक, उसके बाद में वेटेज कितना है उसका एग्जाम में, आउट ऑफ 100 मार्क्स उसमें से कितने मार्क्स के क्वेश्चन पूछे जाएंगे. देन वी टॉक अबाउट द सब टॉपिक्स. देन आई एम गिविंग द रेफरेंस ऑफ द बुक और द मटेरियल दैट यू कैन यूज फॉर द पर्पज ऑफ प्रिपेयरिंग फॉर दिस पर्टिकुलर थिंग. And then what should be your approach to the preparation, and finally what should be your degree of preparation for passing this exam. So with this one topic, let's go to the next one. The next topic, friends, is on finance. I know chartered accountants, cost accountants, company secretaries, MBA in finance, all of them are already exposed enough as far as the finance is concerned. And plus the subtopics that you see on the screen are basic concepts of finance, decisions in finance, financial markets, and securities markets. Now, these are the topics about which we are already quite familiar, and therefore, as you can see, I am marking it as average, यानी कि it is at number 3. आपको बहुत ज्यादा मेहनत करने की जरूरत नहीं है, लेकिन make sure that जो भी टॉपिक जो सामने दिए हैं आपकी स्क्रीन के ऊपर, उन तीनों टॉपिक्स के बारे में आपकी तैयारी अच्छी हो. कौन सा बुक यूज करना चाहिए इसके लिए? Any good book on financial management by any author will be good enough. As much as if you have the study material of your chartered accountancy exam or cost accountancy exam or company secretary's exam, even that book also will be good enough for the purpose of covering the finance as a topic. 3 marks is the score, and I'm sure you can understand. Very easy, very simple. Nothing very complicated. Incidentally, I also have authored a book called Finance for Value Creation. This book also will help you in preparing for the finance part of this course curriculum. Right. So with this, we go to the next one. Next topic, the main topic is professional ethics and standards. Now, friends, I tell you here something that this is a very critical topic. And why this is very critical topic? Because this is the driver for bringing out the valuation rules under Section 247 of the Companies Act. Remember, the intention behind bringing the valuation rule by the government is to improve the quality of corporate governance. And if the quality of corporate governance is expected, then the valuation professionals are the professionals from whom it is expected the most. And therefore, uh, professional ethics and standards, you have to be absolutely thorough. You can see in the last column, I'm writing it as professional. इसके लिए आपको मटेरियल कहाँ से मिलेगा? You can go to the website of MCA, and from the website of MCA, you can download the registered valuers valuation rules 2017. So वहाँ से आप डाउनलोड कर सकते हैं और ये करीब 50 से एक पेज का डॉक्यूमेंट है और वो 50 पेज का जो डॉक्यूमेंट है अगर आप उसको पूरी तरह से पढ़ेंगे, उसकी पूरी तरह से तैयारी करेंगे, that will be good enough. And you can see that you are getting 5 marks from this particular portion. And remember, this particular portion is not only coming here, it comes once again later on, and that time I'll mention it to you once again. तो ये 5 मार्क्स का आपको यहाँ से स्कोर मिलेगा और इजी एरिया है, इसको पूरी अच्छी तरह से तैयारी करें, because not only it will help you in getting good score, but it will also help you in practice tomorrow when you become a registered valuer. Then friends, we come to the next topic, and that is financial statement analysis. And you can see the again 3 marks. So you have 3 marks on the finance and 3 marks on the financial statement analysis. Again, friends, we are chartered accountant, cost accountant, company secretaries, and the MBA in finance. And therefore, our understanding of finance is expected to be good in any case. लेकिन मैं आपको बताऊं कि जहां तक फाइनेंशियल स्टेटमेंट एनालिसिस का सवाल है, अगेन चार्टर्ड अकाउंटेंट हैं, कॉस्ट अकाउंटेंट हैं, कंपनी सेक्रेटरीज हैं, उनका जो डे टू डे ऑक्यूपेशन होता है, उनकी जो डे टू डे प्रैक्टिस होती है, उसमें जरूरी नहीं है कि वो फाइनेंशियल स्टेटमेंट एनालिसिस करें रोजाना. तो उसकी वजह से ये टॉपिक को रिवाइज करना बहुत जरूरी है. और इसको रिवाइज करना क्यों जरूरी है? क्योंकि when you start practicing as a registered valuer, when you start practicing as a valuation professional, every time when you are doing a valuation assignment, remember you will have to do financial statement analysis of the company for whom you are doing the valuation. And therefore, your preparation on financial statement analysis has to be very, very good. And I'm putting into the second category as high. And I'm putting in second category as high because we are already finance professional, so we already have a good understanding. We only need to revise and ensure that we have a good handle on financial statement analysis. इसका मतलब ये है that you will need to be good as to how to prepare the fund flow statement, how to prepare the cash flow statement, how to do the use the ratio analysis. So how to do the profitability analysis, how to do the expense analysis, how to do the leverage analysis, how to find out the return on capital employed, how to find out the economic value added, how to find out the return on investment, what is the difference between the return on investment and return on capital employed. So all these aspects you will need to prepare as far as the financial statement analysis is concerned. Once again, any book on financial management by any author will be good enough for you to pass this exam. And once again, my book, I'm not trying to promote my book, friends, but since this book I know is going to be helpful to you, I do have to mention that even my book, Finance for Value Creation, will also help you in preparing for this topic, financial statement analysis. Then the fifth topic is general laws and judicial pronouncements. Now remember, this is a group. Under this group, there are many different statutes which are forming part of this particular group. So you have Income Tax Act, you have Companies Act, you have Insolvency Act. So there are all those you got Transfer of Property Act. So all those acts have been clubbed together under this judicial laws and general laws and judicial pronouncements. Uh, Again, what I have done is, depending on the law, I have categorized them. So the first part under this general laws and judicial pronouncements, as you can see on your screen, it is a registered valuer and valuation rules. So you can see in the last column, preparation has to be professional, absolutely professional. That means your understanding about the registered valuers and valuation rules has to be excellent, absolutely excellent. Then under this fifth category, the next law is earlier there was company, there was Partnership Act and the Contract Act were also part of the course curriculum, but those two laws have been removed. Some new laws have been added. So the fourth is Transfer of Property Act. Now, what should be the source? Bare Act. But remember, as you can see in the last column, I'm writing check input output. Please remember, Transfer of Property Act is a voluminous law. So if you think in terms of preparation fully, you might spend a lot of time on it. So just take a call. How is your current understanding about the Transfer of Property Act per se? So depending on that, you can take a call as to how much time you should devote. According to me, just make sure that you don't overspend time here. And what you need to do is, as you see in the first column on the screen, just focus on the topics which are given here. So you have definition of immovable property, transfer and sale of property, rights and liabilities of buyers and sellers. Just focus only on the subtopics which are part of your course curriculum. And what you can definitely do, if you have not done it already, download a copy of the course curriculum, which is available on the IBBI's website, and uh, and then you can find out as to what topic you should spend and how much time. You also have the Indian Stamps Act. Again, is quite a big law. Take a call as to how much time should you devote to it, because it is, again, remember, part of the fifth category, and which is comprising of 18 marks all put together. And Indian Stamp Act, you may have one or two questions. Transfer of Property Act, again, you have one or two questions. So just make your own judgment as to how much effort should you put for something which is just 1 or 2 marks. It's a call that you have to take. I am only recommending, and why I'm recommending is because I know that all of us have a limitation of time, and I also know that for passing the exam we only need the 60 marks. So whatever we can leverage our time, we should do that. Then you have Income Tax Act, and Income Tax Act, again, remember, the syllabus has been revised from 1st June 2020. तो अभी जो syllabus है वो 1st June 2020 से रिवाइज किया हुआ है, और उस रिवाइज सिलेबस में इनकम टैक्स का जो पुराना पोर्शन था वो पोर्शन को अपडेट किया है, and it has been made more relevant, because earlier the course curriculum, the portion that was there as part of the income tax was not really so much relevant from the perspective of the valuation as a profession. But in the revision, which is effective from 1st June 2020, this has been brought out, which of course is a good thing. And you can see here for the income tax, I am saying your preparation must be average. Insolvency and bankruptcy code, uh, you can see in the last column, your preparation has to be professional. Remember, friends, there is a direct relationship between the profession of valuation and the profession of insolvency and bankruptcy. There is a direct relationship, because any company that is going for insolvency resolution has to have two valuers appointed to the valuation of this company. And therefore, understanding of the insolvency code by a valuation professional becomes very important, which is like a prerequisite. So you have to do prepare very well. Only thing is, you do not have to prepare the entire insolvency and bankruptcy code 2016. You only have to prepare the chapter relating to insolvency resolution of a corporate, and which means only the companies incorporated under the Companies Act or the limited liability partnership. So only इनसे related जो insolvency का chapter है वही उसकी आपको तैयारी करनी है, बाकी की तैयारी नहीं करनी है. तो इसमें दो चीजें आएंगी, इसमें insolvency resolution of the corporates आ जाएगा और उसके अलावा insolvency resolution of LLP आ जाएगा. Insolvency resolution and liquidation will come. Incidentally, if any one of you has already passed the exam of insolvency, तो उस समय जो आपने नोट्स बनाए होंगे और अगर आपने वो नोट्स संभाल के रखे होंगे, those notes will be helpful to you in passing your valuation exam as well. Then friends, as part of the fifth topic that we are discussing now, the eighth topic is judicial pronouncements. And fortunately for you, for those who are wanting to appear for this valuation exam, the course curriculum has already specified 6 different judicial pronouncements, either by the Supreme Court or by the High Courts. And as you can see them on the screen, as you can see them on the screen. So you only have to prepare these 6 judicial pronouncements, nothing beyond that. So अगर आपने ये 6 जो जुडिशियल प्रोनाउंसमेंट्स हैं, हिंदुस्तान लीवर का केस है, मेयर मफतलाल का केस है, ब्रुक बॉन्ड लिप्टन का केस है, दिनेश ब्रिजलाल का केस है, सो ये जो 6 केस लॉज हैं, अगर आप उनकी तैयारी करेंगे, दैट शुड बी गुड इनफ. हाउ शुड बी योर प्रिपरेशन? प्रोफेशनल. एंड व्हाई प्रोफेशनल? बिकॉज remember friends, the judiciary, whether it is a Supreme Court or the High Court or the tribunal, have been extremely supportive as far as the evaluation professionals are concerned. You would notice that in all the judicial pronouncements, whether it has been given by the Supreme Court or by the High Court or by the tribunal, in all the cases, they have taken the position that if the evaluation has been done by a qualified and competent valuer, and if he has followed the prescribed method, we would not interfere in the evaluation which has been done by such a professional. So this is the kind of support which is coming from the judiciary for the profession of valuation. So ये जो 6 laws हैं, judicial pronouncements हैं, इसकी आपको तैयारी पूरी करनी होगी. Now we come to the 6th topic, which is on overview of valuation. और यहाँ से मैं कहूँगा कि वैल्यूएशन का जो आपका एग्जाम है या वैल्यूएशन का जो प्रोफेशन है, उसका हार्ट यहाँ से शुरू होता है और उसका हार्ट यहाँ से शुरू होता है. तो उसमें पहला जो टॉपिक है, इट इज ओवरव्यू ऑफ वैल्यूएशन. एंड व्हाट यू नीड टू अंडरस्टैंड एज पार्ट ऑफ दिस पर्टिकुलर टॉपिक इज मीनिंग ऑफ वैल्यू, प्रीमाइस ऑफ वैल्यू, पर्पस ऑफ वैल्यूएशन, and things like that. I do not have to tell you that your preparation for this topic has to be professional. I would say more than professional. ये जो टॉपिक है, इसकी आपकी अंडरस्टैंडिंग एकदम थॉरो होनी चाहिए. एकदम थॉरो यानी कि आपको सोते से भी अगर कोई जगह के पूछे कि भाई ये वैल्यूएशन क्या है, प्रीमाइस ऑफ वैल्यूएशन क्या है, you should be able to give the answer just like this. So that is the topic of overview of valuation. Now इसमें फ्रेंड्स मैं बहुत स्ट्रांगली रिकमेंड करूंगा, अगर आप वैल्यूएशन के एग्जाम को देना चाह रहे हैं, the first thing that you must do, start your preparation with the study of Indes 113. Indes 113 is on measurement of fair value. Fair value is in the crux of the Indes. Indes is Indian accounting standards, which have become mandatory for certain companies in this country already. So Indes 113 की आप स्टडी पूरी तरह से करिए. उसके अलावा आप और क्या करिए, there are the valuation standards prescribed by the Institute of Chartered Accountants of India. pick up or download a copy of those standards and read that also. Why I'm recommending this? Because if you read, if you prepare, if you start your preparation by reading INDES 113 or INDES 113 and the valuation standards prescribed by ICAI or IVSC, you will know the boundaries. आपको ध्यान में आएगा कि ये वैल्यूएशन की बाउंड्री क्या है, तो उससे आपको आपकी आगे की प्रिपरेशन करने में बहुत मदद मिलेगी। नाउ कौन सी बुक आपने रेफर करनी चाहिए? तो मेरे ख्याल से एनी बुक which is on advanced financial management or any book which is on strategic financial management should be good enough for you to prepare on this topic. As far as other authors are concerned, there are few authors who have written the books on valuation. I will suggest कि आपकी जान पहचान में अगर कोई दोस्त है या कोई फ्रेंड है या कोई और कलीग है जिसने ये एग्जाम पास किया है, तो आप उनसे पूछ लें कि भाई आपने कौन सी बुक पढ़ के ये एग्जाम की तैयारी करी थी. सो पिक अप recommendation from a friend of yours or a colleague of yours who has already passed the exam, because then you will know for sure as to which is the good book available on this particular topic. So thorough preparation has to be absolutely professional. The next topic, as you can see on the screen, is about valuation approaches and methodologies. Now, अब हम पहले heart पे थे of valuation. Now, this topic, friends, is the brain of the valuation as a profession. So, as a valuation professional, you will get assignment of valuation of different kinds. तो जैसा कि मैंने पहले बताया, in certain cases you may have to do the evaluation for merger. In certain cases you may have to do the evaluation for demerger, valuation for slump sale. You may have to do the evaluation for the fresh issue of capital. You may have to do the evaluation for transfer of shares among the shareholders. You may have to do the evaluation for so many purposes. और वो वैल्यूएशन के कैसे करेंगे आप? वो वैल्यूएशन के लिए फ्रेंड्स देयर आर 3 अप्रोचेस: income approach, market approach, and the cost approach. Obviously, your understanding of all these 3 approaches has to be very, very strong. And remember, these 3 approaches of valuation are not only applicable for the tangible assets, they are equally applicable for intangible assets also. And here I can also mention, friends, it is a myth that the corporates all over the world have got more money invested in the tangible assets. No, it is the other way around. Corporates across the globe have got more money invested in the intangible assets. As much as, and more often than not, the intangible assets which are owned by a corporate may not even reflect on the balance sheet of that entity. And that is why there is a need for valuation of intangibles. And this is something very interesting, क्योंकि कंपनी की बैलेंस शीट पे इंटेंजिबल एसेट नहीं है, लेकिन आपको उसके उस इंटेंजिबल एसेट का वैल्यूएशन करना है. That is the reason why we need professional valuation professional. So ये 3 अप्रोचेज हैं. ये 3 अप्रोचेज को आपको बड़ी अच्छी तरह से समझना पड़ेगा. उसमें under the income approach you will also have the discounted cash flow method. उसमें आपको cost of capital क्या है उसको बड़ी अच्छी तरह से समझना होगा. So all that is what is required. Now remember, good preparation of these valuation approaches and methods will not only help you in answering many of the MCQs, they will also help you in preparing, in cracking the case studies. In your examination, there will be 3 case studies of 20 marks put together. And so there will be 10 questions in 3 case studies. Each question will be of 2 marks. So if you are well prepared as far as the approaches are concerned, or as far as the methods of the evaluation are concerned, not only you will be able to answer many of the MCQs, but you will also be able to solve the case studies very confidently. So your preparation has to be absolutely professional. Then we have a topic which is valuation application. Now, valuation application also has got many subtopics, and you can see it is of 33 marks. And you can see the valuation approaches and methodology is of 5 marks. But remember, just because it is of 5 marks, it does not mean its value is less. Even if it is of 5 marks, its value is tremendous. Valuation application, 33 marks question will come from the valuation application. It has got many subtopics, and the first subtopic, as you can see on the screen, is equity or business valuation, which has got again different topics. Your preparation has to be very strong, very strong. It has to be thoroughly professional. So that means anybody, you should be able to answer any question on valuation application with your preparation for you to pass the exam. So that is how it is. And when it comes to the valuation application, remember, cost of capital, you have to be very, very clear, very, very clear. Now remember, cost of capital is something which is so important in finance, कि फाइनेंस की दुनिया में कॉस्ट ऑफ कैपिटल के बिना कहीं काम नहीं हो सकता. Whether you are in portfolio management, or you are in security management, or you are in forex management, or you are in capex management, irrespective of whatever may be the area, anything and everything in finance you can solve only when you have a good understanding of cost of capital. Make sure that you understand cost of capital very well. The second topic under this valuation application is fixed income securities. So you will need to understand which are the different fixed income securities, what are their features, and what is credit rating, what is embedded option, what are the derivatives, and all that you will have to prepare as part of fixed income securities. And your preparation has to be absolutely professional. Option valuation is the third topic as part of the valuation applications. Different models are there of options. So you have Black and Scholes model. You got a Black-Scholes binomial tree method. You got a Monte Carlo simulation. So all these methods, friends, you will have to prepare, because not only you will need them for passing the exam, but you may also require them when you are practicing as a valuation professional. So your understanding has to be absolutely thorough. Any book on advanced financial management or strategic financial management, which has got the derivative covered as part of that book, should be good enough for you to prepare well for this topic. Valuation of other financial assets. So remember, it's not only the companies that you will need to value, but sometimes you may need to value even the financial assets and the financial liabilities also. And again, when you have to do the financial assets and the financial liabilities, which means your debentures or your preference shares, your convertible preference shares, your warrant. So there are different kind of financial assets and liabilities that needs to be valued in the corporate for the purpose of decision making. So you will need to have a very good understanding of that as well. And then intangible assets, as I was mentioning little before, intangible assets are a major chunk of the balance sheet. To have a good understanding of how to do the valuation of intangible, there are different methods. So there is a method called free from royalty. There's a method called with or without for the purpose of the valuation of intangibles. There's a method called mean for the purpose of intangible valuation. So all that you will need to have a good understanding, professional understanding. And then of course there can be certain specific situations like distressed assets valuation, startup entities valuation, valuation of cyclical firms, valuation of investment entities, valuation of seasonal firms. So how will you do the valuation of a startup? How will you do the evaluation of a company which is seasonal in nature or cyclical in nature? So all that also will need to be prepared as part of this particular topic. And need I mention, preparation has to be absolutely professional. Then you come to the Companies Act, and remember, as far as the Companies Act is concerned, uh, your preparation need to be high. और ऐसा नहीं कि आपको कंपनीज एक्ट पूरा तैयार करना है. No, there are certain topics which have been identified, certain chapters which have been identified. You need to focus only on those chapters because these are the chapters which have a bearing on the valuation. So just focus on preparation of those chapters only. If you are since you are a practicing chartered accountant or company secretary, there is a full possibility that you are already dealing with such chapters or these matters. As a cost accountant, I'm not very sure as to whether you may really be so much into the company law matters. But in case if you are also into the company law matters, your preparation, your preparation, your time on these topics maybe to that extent less. But you have to have a thorough understanding of the provisions relating to the Companies Act, different chapters. SEBI. Now, as you can see, there are a lot of SEBI regulations. So you got ICDR, LODR, mutual fund, share-based employee benefits, CEST, delisting, ESOP valuation. So all these regulations or SEBI regulations are part of the course curriculum as far as the exam is concerned. But all these and these are very critical. Remember, when you start practicing as a valuation professional, many a time for all your assignments you will need your knowledge and understanding of all this. So depending on the availability of time, check your input output ratio and you can decide as to how much time should you devote. तैयारी कैसे करेंगे, मटेरियल कौन सा यूज करेंगे? You just need to download all these regulations from the website of SEBI, and reading those regulations and understanding those provisions will be good enough for the SEBI regulations. Then you have a RBI and FEMA regulations. So same way, verbatim, it is applicable as we discussed in case of SEBI. So ये सारे जो regulations हैं FEMA के, RBI के, ये सारे relevant हैं, सारे important हैं, सबकी आपको जरूरत पड़ेगी जब आप practice करेंगे as a registered valuer. But they are voluminous at the same time. तो आप selectively decide कर सकते हैं कि कौन से topic पर आपको कितना समय देना चाहिए. Income tax, it is coming second time, but in the revised syllabus, it all has been consolidated and merged at the same place. Your understanding of the income tax provisions, because they have now made relevant and connected with the valuation as such. So therefore, your preparation has to be average. And then finally, friends, the 10th topic is your case studies. And as I was saying, the whole exam is of 100 marks. 100 marks में से आपको 80 marks के MCQs मिलेंगे और 20 marks की 3 case studies मिलेंगी. Case studies के questions are also MCQ based only. So that means you have to study the case study, understand it, and based on that case study, you have been given 10 questions with all the 3 case studies put together. Each question will be of 2 marks. So read the case study, understand it, apply your mind. Based on that, you will answer the MCQs. I can tell you, friends, MCQs, case studies are the game changer. Case studies are the exam clincher. So if you are able to crack these case studies, you can assume that you have passed the exam. It is as simple as that. और केस स्टडीज आप कब सॉल्व कर पाएंगे? केस स्टडीज आप तभी सॉल्व कर पाएंगे जब आपकी बेसिक अंडरस्टैंडिंग अबाउट द एंटायर कोर्स करिकुलम, about the valuation approaches, methods, valuation application, and things like that is clear. I'm recommending a book for the purpose of case study, and that is Valuation Workbook by Gerald Pinto. Now, Gerald Pinto's book is a workbook on valuation. It is full of case studies. It is full of case studies. So if you are able to solve those case studies, I'm sure you will find cracking the case studies even during the exam also quite simple and easy. One more thing that I would like to mention here, friends. अब ये देखो, ये जो case studies हैं, ये end में दी जाती हैं. So after you have completed 80 marks of MCQs, then you will find these case studies. My recommendation is don't wait for end to happen to solve these case studies. ऐसा मत करिए. क्यों ऐसा मत करिए? Because case studies are quite elaborate, and if and you may not have enough time left when you reach to the point of the case study. Therefore, there may be a little bit of natural nervousness, natural anxiety. And remember, when you have a nervousness or anxiety, your concentration is not as stable as it should be. So therefore, reading the case studies itself may be a little difficult. So my recommendation will be, आप 50 मार्क्स के MCQ सॉल्व कर लीजिए, और 50 मार्क्स के MCQ सॉल्व करने के बाद देन यू शिफ्ट टू दी केस स्टडीज विच यू कैन डू, बिकॉज ये बड़ा ही यूजर फ्रेंडली एग्जाम है. जो ऑनलाइन एग्जाम है बड़ा ही यूजर फ्रेंडली एग्जाम है. यू कैन मूव फ्रॉम एनीवेयर टू एनीवेयर. तो आप क्या करिए, 50 मार्क्स के करने के बाद या 60 मार्क्स के करने के बाद देन यू कम टू द केस स्टडीज, सो दैट यू हैव एम्पल टाइम अवेलेबल, so as to not have any anxiety or nervousness. Case studies को solve करिए, then you can again go back to your remaining MCQs. So friends, this is the strategy which I thought I would recommend to all of you as far as the preparation is concerned. This program, of course, is going to be available. This video is going to be available on the Facebook. It will also be available on YouTube. And in any case, if any one of you would like to have a copy of this presentation that I am sharing here, you can send me a WhatsApp message. I will share my WhatsApp number in the end. You can send me a WhatsApp message, and I will share a copy of this PPT in case anybody would be interested. Now we come to the second part of the exam strategy, and that is how do you handle yourself in those 2 hours when you are sitting in front of the computer and answering the questions. अब देखिए, you know what you should do. पहली बात तो मैं आपको बताऊं कि ये पूरा एग्जाम, the whole pattern is extremely user friendly. ऑनलाइन है, आपको सारे ऑप्शंस अवेलेबल हैं. आपको किसी क्वेश्चन को आंसर करना है अभी, आप उसको अभी आंसर कर सकते हैं. आपको उसको अभी आंसर नहीं करना है, you want to keep it for review, you can reserve it for review, you can mark it for review, and you can do that. आपको किसी क्वेश्चन को अटेम्प्ट करना ही नहीं है, आप उसको छोड़ सकते हैं, वो ऑटोमेटिकली अनअटेम्प्टेड क्वेश्चन की कैटेगरी में चला जाएगा. इट इज सो फ्रेंडली. You want to go back to a question, you can do that. You want to go forward, you can do that. It's extremely user friendly curriculum, and I think the people who are responsible for this exam must really be complimented. तो अब कैसे करना है, what should be your approach? एक चीज याद रखिए, इस एग्जाम में नेगेटिव मार्किंग है. नेगेटिव मार्किंग मतलब क्या है कि अगर आपने एक क्वेश्चन गलत आंसर किया तो वो 1 मार्क तो आपका गया ही, उसके अलावा आपके 0.25 मार्क्स और कम हो जाएंगे. तो इसका मतलब क्या है? इसका मतलब यह है कि ये एग्जाम में गैस वर्क करके काम चलने वाला नहीं है. अगर आपको ये एग्जाम पास करना है तो ये एग्जाम आप फंडामेंटल प्रिपरेशन के बेसिस पर ही कर सकते हैं. ये एग्जाम में गैस वर्क नहीं चलेगा. तो इसका मतलब क्या है? इसका मतलब ये है, हाउ शुड यू गो अबाउट राइटिंग द एग्जाम्स. तो स्ट्रेटेजी यू शुड फॉलो इज लाइक दिस. You start answering the questions, and when you come across a question in front of you on the screen, you answer it only if you are 100% sure that you know the answer of this question correctly. अगर आपको इस क्वेश्चन का आंसर 100% मालूम है, आंसर इट. अगर आपको इस क्वेश्चन का आंसर मालूम है, थोड़ा डाउट है, यू कैन मार्क इट फॉर रिव्यू लेटर. और अगर आपको इस क्वेश्चन का 200% मालूम है कि आपको ये क्वेश्चन का आंसर नहीं मालूम, डोंट वेस्ट योर टाइम ऑन दिस क्वेश्चन. जस्ट लीव इट फॉर एवर. एंड व्हाई लीव इट फॉर एवर? बिकॉज जो क्वेश्चन का आंसर आपको आता है, वो क्वेश्चन को आंसर करने में आपको 2-3 सेकंड लगते हैं. लेकिन जिस क्वेश्चन का आंसर आपको नहीं मालूम, वो क्वेश्चन आपके बिना जाने आपके 1, 1.5, 2 मिनट खा सकता है। और रिमेंबर, टाइम इज स्केर्स कमोडिटी विद यू। अगर एक क्वेश्चन आपका 1.5 मिनट खा गया, तो आप समझ सकते हैं कि so much less time is going to be available to you for solving the remaining question. तो come to a conclusion very fast. इस क्वेश्चन का मुझे आंसर मालूम है, आंसर इट। इस क्वेश्चन का मुझे आंसर आई एम डाउटफुल, मार्क इट फॉर रिव्यू। इस क्वेश्चन का मुझे आंसर नहीं मालूम, लीव इट फॉर एवर। तो ये पूरा प्रोसेस करते जाइए, करते जाइए, करते जाइए, करते जाइए, करते जाइए, और बीच में केस स्टडीज को सॉल्व कर लीजिए, बाद में फिर वापस से रिमेनिंग एमसीक्यूज पे आ जाइए। और ये पूरा प्रोसेस आपने कर लिया। करने के बाद आप रिव्यू बटन दबाएंगे तो सामने आपके आ जाएगा कितने क्वेश्चंस को आपने आंसर किया है। एंड रिमेंबर, यू हैव आंसर्ड ओनली दोज क्वेश्चंस अबाउट विच यू आर 100% श्योर। कौन से क्वेश्चंस को आपने आंसर किया है वो सामने आ गए। उसके बाद में सेकंड कैटेगरी में वो नंबर क्वेश्चन नंबर आ जाएंगे जिनको कि आपने रिव्यू के लिए छोड़ा हुआ है। और तीसरी जगह पे वो क्वेश्चन नंबर आ जाएंगे जो कि आपको मालूम है कि आपने जानबूझ के छोड़े हैं। अब अगर पहली लाइन में, यानी कि जो क्वेश्चंस को आपने आंसर किया है, इफ द टोटल इज कमिंग 65 or so, you can assume you have passed the exam. Why you have passed the exam? Because in principle you have answered only those questions about which you were 100% sure. Remember, 100%, not 99%, 100%. तो अगर आपने 65 मार्क्स के क्वेश्चंस को 100% जिनका आपको मालूम है किया है, दैट मींस यू हैव पास द एग्जाम। अगर आपके पास में थोड़ा टाइम बचा है तो जो रिव्यू के लिए जो क्वेश्चन आपने मार्क किए हैं उनको जरा देख लीजिए। उनमें से अगर आपको बाय द लॉजिक ऑफ एलिमिनेशन अगर कोई क्वेश्चन आंसर करने को आ जाता है तो कर लीजिए, लेकिन गैस वर्क मत करिए। डोंट मेक द गैस वर्क, बिकॉज आपने गैस किया तो हो सकता है कि आपका ऊपर का स्कोर नीचे वाले की वजह से कम हो जाए। And press the button. May God be with you. It is possible that you will get a message, congratulations, you have passed the exam. Go home, distribute a box of sweets to everybody. Second situation can be कि जो क्वेश्चंस आपके ने कॉन्फिडेंटली आंसर किया उसका टोटल आ रहा है 55। इसका मतलब क्या है? इसका मतलब यह है कि यू आर देयर एंड यू आर नॉट देयर। सो व्हाट यू डू नाउ दैट यू हैव सम टाइम अवेलेबल, वो जो क्वेश्चंस आपने रिव्यू के लिए छोड़े हैं वो क्वेश्चंस को थोड़ा सा दोबारा देखना शुरू करिए। उसमें से जितने क्वेश्चंस को आप कॉन्फिडेंटली यूजिंग द लॉजिक ऑफ एलिमिनेशन विद इन द रिमेनिंग टाइम अगर आप क्रैक कर सकते हैं तो करिए, लेकिन उतने को ही करिए जितना आप कॉन्फिडेंटली कर सकते हैं। अगेन, मे द गॉड बी विद यू एंड क्लिक द बटन। देयर इज अ पॉसिबिलिटी दैट यू विल गेट अ मैसेज, congratulations, you have passed the exam and your score is 60.75. Doesn't really matter, so long as it is more than 60, I think is good enough. बाहर जाइए, 2 मिठाई के डब्बे लोगों को बांटिए, क्योंकि आप रहते रहते बाहर निकल के आ गए, पास होके आ गए। और अगर आपका स्कोर 45 है पहले वाला, तो ना इधर देखिए ना उधर देखिए, चुपचाप अपना सामान उठाइए और घर जाइए। बाकी का जो टाइम है उसको आगे की तैयारी में लगाइए। तो फ्रेंड्स, अगर ये 2 स्ट्रेटेजीज हैं जो मुझे लगा कि मैं आपके साथ में शेयर करूं। पहली स्ट्रेटेजी कि किस तरह से एग्जाम की तैयारी करें, किस तरह से सारे टॉपिक्स की तैयारी करें, और दूसरी स्ट्रेटेजी कि वो जो 2 घंटे हैं आपके पास में जब आप एग्जाम दे रहे हैं उस समय आपकी क्या अप्रोच होनी चाहिए, वो सेकंड स्ट्रेटेजी। सो आई एम श्योर फ्रेंड्स you would find this discussion useful, and I wish you all the very best. Thank you so much to the PCET, PBS, and also to all of you, and also to Krishna. And I hand over this session back to Krishna. Krishna, over to you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much for sharing your valuable inputs to all the participants. And I believe that since you explained each and everything in detail, there should not be any kind of questions and doubts from the participants who are there. But for the sake of benefit of the students and the participants, I just want to summarize whatever things you have mentioned in detail, sir. Please allow me, sir.
Please go ahead.
Yes, sir. So, sir, yes, sir.
Please go
Thank you,
ahead.
sir. So, sir has mentioned that the curriculum is lengthy enough, but one should not be hesitate enough for the preparation. And yes, there should be the exam mode is online, and there will be only MCQ questions. Sir has categorized the topics into 4 categories. Like there will be professional kind of questions, there will be high kind of questions, there will be average kind of questions, and there will be some questions which you need to check input output. Sir has also mentioned that the more focus should be there on concepts and fundamentals understanding, not spending more time on how to mug up the MCQs which are already available there, because there will be thousands of MCQs available for the preparation. But yes, one should go for the preparation of concepts and fundamentals. And yes, sir has also mentioned that there are 10 topics which comprises of 100% weightage. And sir has also mentioned a plenty of books for each and every topic to go in detail and study for the preparation. In the second part, sir has explained in detail and thoroughly the strategy which need to be taken care while tracking the 2 hours taking the valuation exams. So this was a wonderful session, sir, and we are extremely happy to have you here. And I do expect that we will be having more such kind of valuable sessions and input from you. Thank you, sir. Thanks a ton.
Thank you, Krishna. Thank you so much. And tomorrow we will have a session on another very interesting topic, and that is Padta. Padta system of management and business control. Padta system was developed by Shri Ghanshyam Das Ji Birla, and all the Birla companies since the times of Ghanshyam Das Birla Ji have been using the Padta system. So tomorrow we will have a session on Padta system. Thank you.
Yes, sir. Thanks a ton, sir.
Thank you.